Stand and say the pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, we'll go ahead and call the meeting to order. Motion to approve the agenda as presented.
So moved.
Thank you, Joel. Second, Larry. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Public communications. I'll just put out, Aaron did contact me this morning, and as you know, his business opened here just on Friday, and he couldn't make tonight's meeting, and he said he had a chance to review the packet, and he would let me know if there was any issues. If we needed him, we could try to call him tonight if there was any issues that we had where we needed his help. So, public communications, none. Conflicts disclosure, none. Motion, do I need 3 separate motions on the minutes or
No,
one?
just one.
Motion to approve the minutes of the March 14th, March 24th, and March 29th meetings. Thank you, Marty. Second.
Second.
Thank you, Joel. Discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion to approve the financial statements.
So moved.
Thanks, Joel. Second.
Second.
Thank you, Larry. Discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Motion to approve the claims.
So moved.
Thanks, Marty. Second.
Second.
Gotta be one of you, Larry. Thank you very much for jumping on that grenade. Discussion.
I have a question.
Yes?
Is it just a timing issue on those desktops?
Yes, they were ordered last July 1st.
So it's just a timing issue? So we got last year's models this year? No, I'm just joking a little there, but I thought it was probably a timing issue.
Yep.
Okay.
I'm having troubles with my iPad here, so I can't pull everything up. But just for the record, wasn't our fuel surcharge around $4,700 on the busing? It was right in that neighborhood, just so people are aware that, you know, the price of fuel is definitely affecting our budget. I mean,
Yes.
that's in 1 month, I believe it was $4,800. The other thing I have a question on is Architecture Inc. Kind of gonna jump towards the end of the meeting here, but, you know, before I will give a nod to paying their bill, I'd like to know where we're at with them. They promised us plans the end of March, going to bid in April, and to my knowledge, we haven't seen anything.
I would disagree with that promise. I mean, originally that's where we were hoping to be, but as things have progressed, we've never met any of those deadlines, and I realize that.
Okay, well, Larry, the last time you and I met, was it not the end of March for plans and the,
Yeah, and then she says, well, with the electrician, whatever, and, well, yeah, by April, but still, the hope was that the plans would be available to be
I
bid.
mean, Tom, didn't you have an email sent saying that we expected plans?
I sent an email, and I still have it, and I can go back and check. But my concern was as to the timing, and I had that specifically sent off to Architectural Inc. and I believe Travis Sickmore at that time. And, you know, they both assured me that we would be within proper time parameters. And
Because
that
we're
we
looking at May start,
Yeah, we're well into May
Right.
now.
well, I mean,
And guess
for the
what?
boilers, or,
That's the key right there. What are we gonna do with these boilers in May?
we don't wanna lose them, you know. If we do it, if they're out, it's bid, we wouldn't accept it before May, work probably wouldn't start before June. Would you kinda guess that way?
I'm just gonna be dead honest. It's always been my understanding there'd be no construction start until school was out.
In May?
And
It's
so,
in May, yeah.
right now, we're at May 20th is our last day of school,
Yeah.
so it was
But
never
it's
my
looking like-
guess that we'd be
I
starting
wasn't
construction
expecting any
prior.
construction, but.
But we gotta have bids let so that we have time to make a decision.
I mean, it's June and we're just pushing for the in-house staff and everything, if they're gonna tear that office apart and put stuff in, but everybody has a chance to get situated.
I guess
If
my point
possible.
is, the last meeting I was involved in, we were told plans end of March, bidding in by the end of April. I have not seen that, and I question why we would pay the full amount of that invoice. That's my perspective. Now, I'm not saying we shouldn't pay part of it, but
Well,
we have needs, I mean, we have to.
with an explanation if you're gonna pay it.
Yeah, I mean, we have to beat a bid no later than that first week of May, so that we have time to make a decision before school is out as to what, you know, the plan moving forward.
Lori, when's that bill due? If you could check for us.
When is it due? Yeah, I don't think it's, you know, it doesn't have on there like 30, you know, how some
Do you know what
invoices
date
have.
we received it or anything exactly?
We just received it, we always receive it at the first of the month, you know, end of the month, first of the next month.
So we would
We
have just
just received
received it
it,
like
yes.
April.
So we would have till the end of the month.
Let's do this,
Do we have another, excuse me, Tom, do we have another meeting in a week?
Yeah, I need to talk to you, well, it just might be a 5-minute meeting though, but if you wanna add more to it, I have to have, a very short meeting on April 11th. Even if it's 3 people, because what has happened is we had advertised for bids for the intercom system. And so we got those bids in, and then in our advertisement, we said that the board, you know, we would make our decision on April 11th. So even if it's I just need a 5-minute meeting with a majority.
Yeah.
You probably see where.
And
I'm
you guys can
going.
overrule me here, but I would like an explanation as to where we're
You
at.
probably see where I was going, if we're gonna meet
Yeah,
in a week, maybe.
well, that's already like basically 5 days. Why don't we just, I mean, I think it's fair to ask where we're at, I do. Why don't we hold off on paying that bill? And I don't even think we necessarily have to hit it April 11th. I think we'll still have time here coming up, I think realistically by the end of the month. Let's see where we're at on that. And are you proposing then, Joel, that we just hold paying that bill until later this month?
At least a percentage of it.
Is it better just to hold the bill and wait closer to the end of the month?
I'm good with that.
Or is it better to pay a percentage and kick up a little bit of a hornet's nest?
I'm not necessarily saying hold to the end of the month, give us an explanation.
Yeah, I'd be good with that.
So I have to chime in here. Obviously, I'm not doing my job to the extent that you guys want.
Nope.
What is it
No,
that you
that has
want me to
nothing to
share
do with
with
you.
her? Because I've contacted her every single meeting, because we've talked about this every single meeting.
And the last
so you
time,
want me to-
Jim, that you and I and Larry sat in a room,
Yeah.
the discussion was end of March with plans, end of April with a bid.
And I'm saying,
And if it's
every
changed,
meeting
I
that
don't
we've
know.
had this discussion, I have corresponded with her either via Zoom, phone, or email,
Oh,
stating that
absolutely.
we want them sooner than later.
Yeah, I don't think this is anything, Jim,
No.
within
nothing.
house. I think it's more the concern of
Business.
just where we at
You bet.
with the contract.
Yes, but I'm saying I'm the one corresponding with her, so if you'd like me to do something different than what I'm doing,
No,
I've talked to her personally, not about this, other than just to say hi, and she says, soon, soon. And I don't go any further, I don't ask her about it, I don't think I should at that, you know.
and that's okay. I mean, look, I'm in my job, there's many times I'm behind, I owe a lot of apologies. And I'd say, look, I'll get to you, just gave one tonight, said April 18th, are you okay? And I'm sure they would rather have it April, whatever today's date is, yeah, April 1st. And so I recognize, you know, the issues of just trying to keep up with work, but I think it's okay for us to ask. I think, Jim, if you could just come back with, the board has a concern, again, as to our ability to bid, timing, where are we at, we're gonna be able to do something by, you know, I'd like to be able to have realistically a meeting set for Monday, April 18th. I mean, again, revisit the issue at that point in time if need be. But I think it's fair to ask.
Yeah.
What do you think,
I
Marty?
agree.
Okay.
So I just need clarification. You want me to hold that check until further notice?
Yep.
I like that idea better than paying half of it.
Yeah, and it's not, I want to be clear, the bill will be paid, but I feel that, I mean, that, this is not, we're not paying the bill. Okay, I want to make sure that's clear. All right,
But if we pay half of it, just like you said.
it just, yeah, just, let's just have a conversation where we're at, that's all right.
I don't wanna get to May 20th and we're still trying to figure out what to do.
Yeah. And I want to be clear, I feel that everybody here that's been working locally has been doing a good job. And again, I also recognize that the current environment has been difficult on a lot of contractors, okay? A lot of professionals. So, we're not going to war, we just have concerns. Okay, anything else on the claims? All in favor say aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Motion to approve the Association of South Dakota School Board, or Association of School Board, whatever it is.
Northeast Region Board of Directors.
Thank you.
ASBSD.
AS, ABSSD, whatever, those folks, valid.
So move.
Thank you. Second.
Second.
All right, who we voting for, gents? You had in the packet the credentials. I'll page it down to them again here. We have Kerry Knutson from Dubrook, Ryan Nelson from Faulkton, Shane Roth from DeSmit, and Aaron Sherman from Elkton, and Robert Steffen from Clark.
The only one I know is Carrie Knudsen. I sat on the co-op board with her. She did a good job.
She has the most experience. I don't know any of them personally.
Aaron from Elkton is currently serving as the president of the NESC. He's very active. I think he's only been a board member at Elkton for about 6 years. I should say 8 years.
6 years.
In comparison,
I like it.
yeah, so Mark would kind of,
It's a good year.
I was really hoping you'd come with a recommendation.
if you were to ask me, I know both Knudsen and Aaron. I'd probably go with Aaron. I know them both and have known them both for a few years, but he seems like a very positive person and a really good person. So that would be my recommendation if I were to vote.
Marty, you knew him also?
Just through the school board meetings for the NESC. But seems very organized and seems to be doing it for the right reasons.
Was he on as a board member when I was down there? Maybe?
Yeah.
I do know who you're talking about. Yeah, he was good.
All right, so I got,
So how long has he been on the NESC board?
I think he's been on that board ever since he got on their school board. He has, or had, he had a special needs child that unfortunately passed away. I believe that's what happened, but that was kind of his passion for serving in that
Okay.
capacity, and he continues to do so. The thing that I like about him is he just writes these notes to everybody every now and then, just as mindful, just be mindful of what our mission is and our purpose is as a co-op and what we're doing, what's for best for the students, children, so he's a very positive person.
well, he's the NESC board president and graduated from SDSU, so he's got my vote. There you go.
I'll make the motion.
All right, Joel made the motion, second Marty.
I'll second it, yep.
All right. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
I
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
just looked him up on Facebook. He is. I remember him.
Okay, motion to approve declaring surplus property, the sign out by City Hall and donating it to the city of Webster.
So,
Thank you, Marty. Second?
Second.
Thank you, Larry. Discussion?
Can I get an amen with that?
Yeah, so I was, Jim and I at the last, was it the cabaret concert or one of the concerts, was approached by a city councilman who works with the library board. The library has been looking to get a new sign. Naturally, with the sign we have there, the discussion has been in the past, and it's been on our wish list to have a digital sign placed, but realistically, the funds haven't been there to support it. It makes a perfect fit, and more likely than not, we could probably still cooperate with the city library and let them own it, and every now and then, they could probably put up anything to help us out. I think the sign's a good thing, but realistically, I don't know if too much has changed on the sign in a while, and I think the majority of people are now doing the iPads, those type of things. So I think it's a perfect fit. I think donating it to the city of Webster, that will save the city of Webster and the library some funds, and then they can refurbish that and do something good with it. I think that's a great idea. So bottom line, they wondered if we'd do it right away. I said, not without bringing that up at a public action, a public meeting, and so here we're at. Everybody good with it?
yes.
Okay. Marty, Larry? Yep. Joel?
Yes.
All right, motion carries. Motion to approve, do I have to do the contracts individually? Okay. Just a second. Motion to approve the contract of Eric Coyne, assistant golf coach.
So moved.
Thank you, Joel. Second.
Second.
Thank you, Marty. Discussion?
He was junior high last year, correct?
Correct.
All in favor say aye.
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 All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Motion to approve Kelvin Nygaard as driver's ed instructor.
So move.
Thank you, Larry. Second.
Second.
Thank you, Joel. Discussion? All in favor say aye.
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 All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Motion to approve Craig Case as driver's ed instructor.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor say aye.
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 All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Motion to approve calendar amendments.
So
So
moved.
move.
Marty first, second Larry. Discussion?
On this year's calendar, I have put in kind of a request to make the final 2 days of the school calendar as work days versus school days. Whether it's the Thursday, Friday that it currently is, or it goes into the next week. I know that we still have some work that we can be doing. It's nice for the teachers to be able to finalize some things. As the year progresses, you'll always hear that the students check out by a certain date, whatever, but the two particular days we're looking at right now, at the secondary, and we have regional track meet on that Thursday, I mean, that's gonna take out 40, 45 kids that particular day, which is the second to the last day of school, and we get out at noon on that Friday. So I was just looking at, rather than having all those absences and dealing with that type of stuff at the end of the year, to go forward with work days. Like I said, we can still work on the school improvement plan and the accreditation process. I know that our committee members, some committees are complete with their work and some are not. We still haven't had enough time to put it all together yet either, and even discuss or review it together, so. Will we have school tomorrow? I don't know. And it sounds like there's yet one more chance next week that could potentially be a wind vane or not a snowstorm, so that's where I'm at with that. Do you want me to discuss both of them, or?
Gentlemen, up to you. Well, we're just taking
You can
one,
vote
how about we just
separately if you
do,
want.
All right, where do you stand on, we'll start with you, Marty, on the extra 2 days at the end of the,
I know when I was teaching it was nice to have time at the end of the year, you know, you're trying to get out of there and you still got kids and then you end up coming back later and correcting tests and cleaning up rooms, especially as a science teacher, there's a lot of stuff to put away. So time at the end of the year would be appreciated.
okay, you in favor?
Yeah.
All right, Joel?
Maybe I'm not following, but the kids are still gonna be in the classroom the same amount of time, aren't they, or?
Oh, that's an excellent question. We have, with the current calendar that we have set up, 171 days of instruction, and we get to count 2 days of parent-teacher conferences as days of instruction. We have just under 6 full days built into our calendar that, I don't know, I'll publicly say this, technically you could waive 6 snow days, or 5.6 or something like that, without us, you know, being in jeopardy of not having enough instruction. If that makes sense. So there shouldn't be any issue with our instructional time meeting the requirements that the state has.
Okay.
I meant to mention it, but I forgot, so thanks for asking.
I'll add with the track meet, that, you know, especially at the high school level, that's a distraction, and you can't schedule any tests on that time. So at the high school level, it gets pretty chaotic, so, I shouldn't say chaotic, but trying to find something to do on the last day with kids is sometimes tough.
Larry? Thumbs up? All right. So if I understand it correctly, then if we do have 2 more snow days, our last day would be Friday. If we have no more snow days, our last day would be Wednesday.
Last day of school.
Correct.
Students.
For students.
So, but that track meet day is not gonna change.
So if we get snow days, you're still gonna have to, because otherwise it
Right,
impacts that
yes.
significantly anyway. Correct. I'm good with the change. You just hope that we don't have too much mission creep, that it keeps going back a couple extra days, and you just hope that that we can continue teaching as much as we possibly can, again, up to that point in time. I recognize that we still have to clean up rooms and et cetera, but I think that's a good plan, especially, there's no reason to come back the Monday or Tuesday, in my opinion, if there are additional snow days right now.
Right.
Okay?
The second item that I have for the calendar is adjusting next year's school calendar. We did approve it in, I think, January. And Mr. Case and I were reviewing. At that time, we didn't know the Northern State University back-to-school program. I like to offer that as an option for our staff. And so it's, in my opinion, it's best not to have our scheduled in-service day on that particular day. That is that particular Wednesday, the 17th, which is our first day in our originally approved calendar. So what we're proposing is moving that Wednesday to the following Monday. So our teachers will be here on the 18th, which is a Thursday, and 22nd?
Yeah, you have 22nd in your notes.
22nd on that Monday. And we would do the back-to-school barbecue on Monday evening. The reason we like to do the back-to-school barbecue on the second day of our in-service is it gives us more time to prep. Mainly, especially for the elementary, you know, they get their classrooms ready and things like that. And if you do it the day of, the first day of in-service, it just doesn't give them the same. Plus, we always have some sort of training and meetings and things that we have to kind of get taken care of in those days. So it's not a huge change, but that's the reason we're looking at is to provide that opportunity for option for our staff to go to the back-to-school barbecue, or back-to-school workshop at Northern and move it the other day to that Monday and making that our second day and our back-to-school barbecue. Still leaves one day between our last in-service day and the school day, so if there's some that would still like to come in and work get some things done prior to first day of school, they have that option as well.
Larry?
Good.
I'm good.
Yep.
All right. Motion carries. Discussion items, superintendent report, Dr. Block.
I don't wanna get too far into this, obviously we have lots of activities. We do have some assemblies coming up, and I wanted to just publicly mention these. We will be notifying parents on one of them. One of the first one that we have is a gentleman, first name is Reggie. We were approached by the Freedom Church, and they were going to sponsor, they would like to sponsor this speaker. He does both a Christian speaking presentation and a non-Christian for schools. Mr. Case and I reviewed some of the video that we could find online with the information that they provided. Freedom Church is providing the cost for this, which is well over $3,000. We've also, they've also invited Wabe to come over. So that is going to occur on the 29th of April. And we're going to do it at the Armory, just so that we have enough space. And my understanding is that Wabe is going to bring whichever kids they can get over here to make it work their schedule. And I do believe they were actually going to maybe invite some other districts once it's placed, because we have plenty of capacity at the Armory. We have done this before, but it's probably been a good 8-10 years since we've had kind of a regional assembly. But we've done these before at the Armory, and our Armory is a good location, nice size facility. So that one's on the 29th. And then on the 10th of May, Key Club had approached me doing something that they wanted to kind of teach kids about. They have what's called, I believe it's called Set Me Free, and it's about human trafficking. And our secondary staff, 7 through 12 staff, participated in a webinar at our last in-service. It was about an hour and a half. And the purpose for that webinar is so that our staff can see what our students will see in the presentation, some of the information, so that they can help facilitate discussions and questions and things that might come up in the classroom or in homeroom. It isn't specifically just about sex trafficking, that type of thing. It's also about labor trafficking, which is, there's some things that I was made aware of that I had no idea was occurring. And so, again, that's sponsored by the Key Club, and it's a group out of Sioux Falls that's coming up to do that. They did ask to do smaller groups, so we're splitting up. Our 7th and 8th grade is one group, 9th and 10th grade is a group, and 11th and 12th grade. And the assemblies are approximately an hour and 15 minutes with some questioning after that, so that's what's happening that day. End of the year activities are coming up. I will tell you, when you talk about track meets and days and this and that, holy cow, it's busy in the spring. Every year you'd think I would remember it after doing this for so many years, but we have a lot of activities that occur in the spring, and it's not just our track and ball, FCCLA, FFA, math contest. There's just an entire gamut of activities. So finding days to work things out, fit in assemblies like this is a challenge. We are going to do the awards ceremony the same evening as the baccalaureate. Last year was the first year that we did that. We kind of like it because it's not an additional night for awards separately. We've talked with the Ministerial Association. They thought that it worked out fine. So we'll do awards at 6 p.m. with the baccalaureate to follow on that particular Wednesday, which I think is the 11th. And then graduation is on the 15th, that following summer. Or Sunday, not Sunday. Graduation is a little bit earlier this year than it normally has, but it's just crept up, and eventually I think it will swap back. But I honestly don't know what I put on the calendar for next year. We just tried to avoid Mother's Day.
May 5th is Mother's Day, May 8th,
Yes.
so May 15th is graduation. May 18th, I would guess then, is the baccalaureate. Yep.
And then my final item, I've discussed a little bit of accreditation and school improvement. We have different committees working on different tasks, and we're coming together with it. Some of them are complete with what they have to do. My data crew, they have a little bit more work than others. If we need to, we've probably hired some substitutes and give them some time. We haven't quite finalized what data we want to look at. Historically, we've looked at a 3-year comparison of the percentage of students that are advanced, proficient, basic, or below basic. If we can find another type of data that's already generated, through SD stars, we'd like to do that, but we haven't yet found that. So we'll continue working on that. Eventually, we'll put it all together and review it and make sure it's what we hope to do. And I will basically provide a copy to you folks, and also allow for input as well. We did send out surveys to students, parents, and community members with respect to school improvement that had specific questions. So they're using some of that data as well to drive our decisions. That's what I have.
I just got one question for you. Back to the Freedom Church sponsored speaker, what's his, is he a motivational speaker, is he a?
Yeah, he's been speaking for 22 years, I think. He talks about positive decision-making, dealing with challenges in your life, overcoming adversity, things like that. So,
That sounds interesting.
He's
Yeah.
also a sax player too.
What's that?
yes, he's a musician as well.
Yeah, I looked up his video and he looks, really entertaining and boisterous and get the kids engaged. Looks like it'll be a good one.
Cool.
Okay, any questions for Dr. Block? All right, moving on, principal report, Mr. Case.
Dr. Block pretty much covered it all and did a good job, so.
Okay,
I don't know if you guys have any questions or anything.
okay, NESC, keep her going.
Lake Preston is opening a center base. I really truly don't know the particular needs that those students will have, if it's a behavioral one, I'm not sure what it is, but that's something new. They had a statewide SPED conference, and two of the main topics there was dyslexia and social and emotional health. Social and emotional health that's just one of the top priorities associated with anything in education right now. And dyslexia is kind of I think we're learning a little bit more about it, because I don't believe that dyslexia was a special ed diagnosis, and is it now? Or,
I don't think it has passed, so
Okay.
we recognize it, but it's not
Yeah.
a category. Unless that bill is passed, I don't think so.
But they had, as I understand it, they had quite a few sessions dealing with dyslexia at the state conference. And then the Vision Committee, they're doing some strategic planning, reviewing things similar to our school improvement plan. And some of the two top needs that came out of surveys to the school districts, which those questions are probably answered by all the superintendents, was that we need additional behavioral resources. Right now, we contract through NESC, which is through Southwest West Central Cooperative in Minnesota. They provide the behavioral specialists for us. We are reaching a point where NESC is considering developing and/or hiring and/or training their own behavioral specialist, because we're reaching that point where our contract with Southwest West Central is perhaps maybe we could have our own person, if that makes sense. So they're always looking at the efficiencies and the need, determining at what point are we going to take that step and find somebody. And then professional development. NESC is a Northeast Special Services Educational, Northeast Educational Services Co-op is what the actual statement is. And so it's not specifically special ed. It was designed originally and created mostly for special ed needs, but they can do other services. They do reading recovery, the behavioral stuff, they do bus driver training, bus driver drug testing, things like that. So I think there's just kind of more of a thought process for the school districts is, can we do some things more collectively that the schools have as similar needs for professional development. So we'll see where that goes. We are a co-op of 24 schools, and we span from Britain all the way down to, I think Elkton is Elkton? Yeah, Elkton is the farthest south. So it's a big co-op geographically. And so even trying to find a central location is still gonna be a drive for some schools.
Okay.
I do have a question for Mr. Case. Did you had a speaker come in March about do unto others or whatever? How did that,
Who was that again?
And then from Sioux Falls, sports car, he brought the dog.
Oh, yeah, yep, character.
how'd that go?
Yeah, it went really well. He brought his dog in. We kind of tried to keep it in smaller groups so he could kind of connect with them a little bit better. So, yeah, he reached out and met with all the different grade levels and, you know, talked about the golden rule of treating others how you want to be treated. And, yeah, that was a good message. And he also does a distracted driving portion. But he didn't share that with the kids at the time, so we're hoping to get him back for driver's ed to bring him back about that, because he had lost a niece because of distracted driving. And so hopefully we can get him back and share with the kids during driver's ed.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
Okay, any other questions? Thank you. Buildings and grounds.
When you talk about the summer maintenance list, we're starting to put that together. We've got some things, like the elementary loading area. We've had some contact with a company to do some things like that, but it hasn't happened yet. Outdoor classroom, we need to get that moved. I do believe we came up with a nice solution to that. Excuse me. We believe our best effort is to do a sidewalk from the new south entrance of the CTE building. Go straight to the sidewalk that is on 7th Avenue. That does two things for us. It is a longer sidewalk, but it's not, when you really look at where the building is gonna end and go there, it's not as long as you would think. That eliminates any need for stairs inside, because you can get the slope that you need by going all the way to the sidewalk. And it eliminates little steps outside, which is a great thing for me and our custodians. And we were just thinking, well, if that sidewalk's gonna exist, we'd have to put a new opening in the fence line to go straight along. And there's one tree that has died out there, and we may have to move two of those that aren't real large trees. Then we can place the outdoor classroom on the east side of that walkway, kind of towards the south end. It would be closer to the playground equipment. You'd have access from the building, access from the city sidewalk. It would be still within our facility. It doesn't break up a huge area, you know, where if the kids want to play football or soccer, or you still have a nice open grass area. So we're pleased with that. I believe that's probably, we did consider, you know, on the north side of the middle school, on the playground, over there. We even considered, do we take it down to the football field and repurpose it down there? So we had lots of ideas, and I'm glad we came up with that. We did have Ramesh Larson come and meet with us yesterday, and I think the three of us discussed, and we kind of came up with it. So, the garage, will need to move that. I did get a quote from Millbank House Movers to move that. Just a verbal quote over the phone is about $7,500. We will still need to also find somebody or hire somebody to pour a slab. He did not come and look. He asked about power lines. I said, well, there's a power pole right beside the garage that we get our power from. So I don't know if there'll be any additional costs, but they should be able to get it out of there. The question is going to be timing. Obviously, the outdoor classroom is going to have to move sooner than that garage, but I did ask Patty to find out what timeline we'd be looking at with that. Millbank House Movers did say that that's a project that they could squeeze in somewhere with a week's notice or something. So,
Do you know where you want to go with that?
right now, we think the best location is in that north parking lot. It most likely is going to be, and I say this, I've been making a lot of decisions and thinking of what I have for an opinion. I think it's probably best used as a custodial garage for a couple reasons. When we built it, we really didn't put in wide enough doors. If you look at our old Suburban mirrors, they've been tattered for that, unfortunately. And so, really, if we wanna have a garage facility for the 2 minibuses and 2 other vehicles, we really should look at some wider doors. So this could be used for some of the stores that we currently have in those north garage locations between the ag shop and the middle school entrance, as well as the forklift, the snow blower, the things that our custodians have in those. Right now, we have a 2-stall and a single stall that has quite a bit of stuff. Well, that's a 3-stall, so I don't know if it's gonna be enough space right away, but if you have suggestions or any thoughts, I don't know that this lot over here is really the best idea. Snow removal is gonna be an interesting thing, and I actually wanted to talk to Larry and Joel about that, and we're gonna also talk to Blake and kind of get some ideas from him. And this little nook in here is probably gonna be more difficult for snow removal, because right now everything goes kind of over where the mid buses are against the fence. I think it's all gonna have to go to the east, and then the question is where? Will we have to haul it out? Can we take it to that east parking lot in the southeast? And if we put the garage over there, that might be another obstacle to move it around, or, so. I'm open to ideas, but we've had discussions and thought processes and walked around, and ultimately the decision has to be made, but right now I'm kind of the one with discussions deciding, well, I think this is the best place, but I'm not sure, and we'll see what we can do.
I think you're on track going north. You don't lose parking. At least amount of parking you lose.
If we put it as far north as we can legally place it on the lot line, so that it's up against, not up against the fence, but close to the fence. We have power there that's already metered. We did that when we were doing some building trades projects, that was, back in 2010, 2011. Perhaps maybe move it towards the east, towards the alley, so you have some space if you'd like to add on the west end maybe, or excuse me, move it west, so you have some space on the east. I still think you could use half of that parking lot for parking without obstructing the entrances to those garages.
If your hope is for receiving and everything there, and forklift and other equipment,
Yeah.
right on the same, right across the street down the road, be there.
I think a lot of our receiving is still gonna happen on the north end of the building, where we currently have our maintenance room. It's actually gonna be a little bit larger maintenance room, just south of the current business office, which would be the center base. The majority of our larger stuff will come in there. There is a chance that the high school entrance, right now the plan is to remove those steps and keep the ramp in place. So it will be basically an exit-only doorway. You can come in if you wish to, but it's gonna be more usable as a fire exit or emergency exit, or versus coming up those steps. Those steps would be gone. That could potentially be a little bit of a loading area, because the boiler room would be just inside that door. We're not sure how much that would happen, but it might be a good place to load with the forklift, get it up that height, and then move things throughout the building from that location. Yeah, I could go on for a long time. If you have questions, please don't hesitate to ask. And we're getting to the point where, like I said, initially I want to speak with Joel and Larry regarding some of the plans, and then ultimately we'll get them to you once we have things finalized. We're still working on some electrical. Travis called me as recent as this afternoon regarding the thermostats that go in the classroom. I can't remember what else he talked about. So it is moving. It's not as fast as we want it to be, but There's a lot of pieces and parts. When I go into a classroom and I start looking around, do we have the outlets where we're gonna want them? I met with our high school special ed teacher. Her new special ed room would be actually in the middle school computer lab, and we were in there 20 minutes, and we just loaded up a piece of paper with all kinds of questions regarding, there's no outlets on this wall. And because it's a computer lab, there's not actual outlets in the wall like you normally have. They were in the conduit stuff. So we wrote down whatever we could think of for needs there.
Okay, anything else on summer maintenance list? Boiler room, boiler/CTE update?
Kind of, we've discussed a good portion of that. Yeah, I'm trying to put together as much as I can with the transitional stuff that we have to take care of. It's not included in the project. So that's kind of been my focus with the project, so that they're not waiting for us to make decisions. I hope to have that stuff in place within the next 2 to 3 weeks.
Okay. Let's hopefully tentatively plan, if we get something back from ARC Inc., we'll plan on that April 18th, that's a Monday. If we get something back, we'll do a meeting, even if it comes in on Saturday, April 16th, Sunday's Easter, I guess that Monday's Easter Monday, but let's plan on doing a meeting that Monday night at 7 if you guys are all right, at least just tentatively.
I won't be able to attend, but
You okay if we call you on, I think Aaron would be here because he's not open on Monday nights.
Right.
We'd at least have 4 of us.
I might be on the road, you can call me if need be.
Okay.
That's
And
on the 18th again?
Yeah,
Okay.
and we'll play it a little by ear. If we don't have something, we might do the 25th. Whatever it takes, let's just see that hopefully we have a meeting coming up here again. Okay? Other than that, motion to move into executive session for negotiation/personnel.
So moved.
Thanks, Joel. Second?
Second.
Thank you, Marty. All in favor, say aye.